I would like to talk about Stanislavski's Unbroken Line. Film acting is an illusion, not because actors pretend to be someone else. It's actually because a single emotional moment is rarely filmed as a single emotional moment. A scene can be broken into dozens of pieces, scattered across days or even weeks, yet the finished product is experienced as one continuous stream of thought. What keeps that inner life from falling apart? More than a century ago, Stanislavski offered an answer. He called it the unbroken line. Far more than an acting exercise, the unbroken line is a method of maintaining uninterrupted psychological life at all times underneath interrupted physical circumstances. This becomes especially powerful in film acting, where the camera absolutely magnifies any interruption or break in the actor's emotional truth. So what is the unbroken line? Stanislavski believed that every character should contain a continuous internal current, a stream of objectives, thoughts, sensations, desires, and impulses that never truly stops, even when the actor is not speaking, even when another character is talking in the scene, even during silence, even between scenes that are in a sequence. The inner life continues. The danger occurs when the actor divides the scene into key emotional moments. As an actor, you know you're in trouble if you rush ahead to see what your next line is. Instead of imagining the character living continuously through the scene, you begin to collect emotional highlights. This is where I get angry. This is where I cry. This is where I smile. The danger of this habit is that each transition, if you put it together this way, is going to be disconnected from the next. There is no quote-unquote connective tissue. The emotional current breaks apart. It fractures. When that happens, the scene or your part of the scene is going to immediately feel artificial. Real human beings don't experience life in disconnected emotional snapshots. Neither should characters. The camera sees all. If you've ever seen bad theater, you may have endured scenes where there are a multitude of people on the stage at the same time, and there's one character that has a long monologue. And in bad theater, it looks like the other actors are lifeless, simply waiting for their next line or their next moment. Now, if this is noticeable in the theater, imagine how many times, millions of times worse, this kind of thing looks like on camera. The camera records everything microscopically. That includes truthful moments as well as disconnected moments. The camera notices thoughts that arrive before the words, emotional hesitation. It notices changing intentions. This is stuff that's happening around the words. It notices subconscious reactions, and it notices internal unresolved conflict. Strong acting is also more than just simply thinking on camera. In film, the actor must learn how to connect the threads of inner life from one shot to the next. A seemingly simple shot that has no dialogue, where your character walks through a doorway and they're coming from the previous scene, for example. This shot with no dialogue is much more complex than you might think. The camera captures the specificity of internal continuity. An actor that understands this principle can not only improve their own performance, they will also make the editor's job much easier. And just think, a happy editor will find ways to give a skilled actor more screen time rather than needing to cut around the moments where the actor was not really connected or their performance was lacking in specificity. Brian Cranston has frequently emphasized that truthful acting comes from committing to the action rather than going after isolated emotional moments. His approach to the work naturally creates a deeper involvement and an uninterrupted stream of inner life. This is so much more effective because the actor is always immersed. They're never just waiting for their moment. They are continuously connected to the inner life and what they are doing as the character, emotionally and psychologically, shot by shot. If the actor disconnects from this immersion in the scene, what appears on camera immediately becomes general. The eyes go vacant, listening becomes performative rather than truthful, behavior becomes mechanical, and the life gets sucked right out of the scene. Stanislavski's The Unbroken Line is looking at the scene like a river. The river, not the rocks. Imagine standing beside a river. Many people notice the rocks that stick out along the river. The actor who only prioritizes their lines or moments is only noticing the rocks. But to truly understand the material is to treat it like the water in the river, feeling the movement, experiencing the emotional current, connecting every line and every event. This understanding of the scene as water, it's not spelled out directly in the text. It is the actor's job to fill in that life. Stanislavski wanted actors to become aware of the river rather than just the individual rocks. Emotion and inspiration then becomes a natural consequence of the flow of inner life, not just isolated checkpoints. Julie Andrews often spoke about beginning her work on a character, really trying to understand the complete journey of her character, even in between the scenes. She described her process of building an understanding of who the character is before the first scene and who they become by the final scene. That broader perspective naturally supports what Stanislavski's Unbroken Line is all about, reinforcing a continuous psychological current rather than just disconnected emotional moments. The inner monologue never stops. One very practical way to maintain the unbroken line is through exploring a continuous internal monologue, not artificial narration, but continuous thinking. In other words, every line that's spoken by another character in the scene allows for your internal response to change. Questions appear, memories come to the surface, plans shift, judgments evolve, desires intensify. This invisible inner life creates a flow of continuity. The actor is no longer waiting for their line. They're living and changing every second, and the camera immediately captures this. Sir Ian McKellen has repeatedly observed that acting for him begins with asking simple questions such as, who am I? Where am I? What do I want? And what is happening to me right now? Those questions don't end when the scene begins. For Ian McKellen, they continue throughout the scene by continually responding to changing circumstances. Instead of acting predetermined ideas, an actor can sustain and discover the invisible psychological life, and the camera quietly absorbs it. Objectives create momentum. Stanislavski argued that objectives, not emotions, carry the performance forward. When objectives are truly alive, they never just stay one note, they evolve. Suppose a character wants forgiveness. Initially, they persuade, then they justify, then they defend, then they bargain, then they plead, then maybe they surrender. The emotional landscape constantly changes, but the underlying pursuit remains connected. That pursuit becomes the thread that connects every transition, and the unbroken line stays intact. Jeff Bridges has often described acting as staying loose, listening deeply, and allowing each moment to affect the next, instead of locking in some kind of predetermined plan. His approach to the work reflects a trust that authentic behavior emerges from pursuing the character's immediate objective. When the objective stays really living inside of the actor, the emotional life evolves naturally, creating the kind of continuity that Stanislavski believed is required by the subconscious. In conclusion, the camera has extraordinary sensitivity. It doesn't simply record faces, it records consciousness. So much more goes into a compelling performance than just technical precision. A great performance brings genuine life into the character. Stanislavski's Unbroken Line remains one of the most elegant solutions to achieving this aliveness, particularly in film and television's fragmented production environment. What is striking is how accomplished actors describe their craft in remarkably similar terms. Brian Cranston speaks about prioritizing actions rather than emotions. Julie Andrews emphasizes the importance of understanding the character's complete journey. Ian McKellen reevaluates the character's shifting circumstances and reinvests in the character's inner life moment to moment. Jeff Bridges advocates remaining present, responsive, and open to discovery. While each artist has developed their own distinctive process, they all point to the same underlying principle. Truthful work emerges from sustained psychological involvement, not isolated emotional results. That is the essence of the unbroken line. When actors stop chasing these emotional moments and instead preserve an uninterrupted current of intention, inner life, and pursuit, the work stops feeling performative and it begins to truly live. And that may be the closest that any actor can come to activating the subconscious. By creating a full and continuous inner life, the actor creates the perfect conditions for inspiration to spontaneously emerge. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Click on the description below for links to our website and to learn more about the new Collective Acting Studio and our private coaching membership. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.